Starting October the 13th, the astrology is giving us a huge relationship reset because Venus, the planet of love and relationships and divine feminine energy, enters its home sign of Libra. So for the next few weeks, we're given the opportunity to really work on relationships, and that includes the relationship you have with yourself and the relationship you have with other people. And the shadow work is simple. We're replacing the fear with fearlessness and mastering our internal standards so the world has no other choice but to meet them. And in this video, I'm going to go through all the 12 zodiac signs and share with you how Venus in Libra is impacting your zodiac and how Venus in Libra is asking you to embody your most magnetic, non-negotiable standards right now. Before I get into your zodiac sign, I just want to say that Venus in Libra is not about avoiding conflict. That's a shadow side. The shadow side is to avoid the conflict so that you can maintain the false peace, the false sense of peace that you've created a narrative in your head about, but it is to address what is actually going on. There's no negotiating with it. And you got to place those heavy, firm, strong boundaries and stick to them, regardless of how anyone else reacts, regardless of how people may perceive you. And this is also your moment to redefine your love language and your love standards. What is it that you require? And are you allowing certain things to slide just so you can maintain again this false sense of peace and harmony? Or do you need to again reevaluate some of your standards, some of your desires and needs, and place those boundaries and make your voice heard and have those non-negotiables loud and clear? So now I'm going to go through all the 12 zodiac signs, and I'm going to share with you the karmic lesson, the shadow work, and the magnetic action to take to embody the higher manifestation of Venus moving into Libra, and how you can master this energy in the next couple of weeks so that your standards can be high, so you can be very clear and firm on your boundaries, and so that you can attract the energy you're truly desiring. Let's get into it. Aries, Aries rising. Let's get into Venus moving into Libra and how it may impact your zodiac sign in the next couple of weeks. So Venus will enter Libra, entering your 7th house of love, relationships, and other people. So when Venus, a planet of love and relationships, is in that area of life that rules over love and relationships, you know that it's going to take over your life for the next couple of weeks. So a lot of stuff that you go through, a lot of the themes and emotions and experiences that come up for you will be regarding relationships. That's where there's going to be a lot of focus and a lot of momentum, and a lot of your emotions also are going to be placed here as well. So when Venus is in the 7th house, yeah, we're looking at love and relationships, but the 7th house also rules over conflict and disagreements and opposition, because often when we're in relationships, whether it be a romantic relationship or some type of a business relationship, partnership, we're all holding up a mirror for each other, and there's disagreements which can lead to conflicts, which can lead to issues. But the 7th house is all about mending and coming together and harmony, building on relationships as well. It's not always the honeymoon phase with the 7th house. There are ups and downs. There are changes. And with Venus here, and we're focusing on the shadows, the karmic patterns, and how we can really master this energy. One of the shadows to release with Venus in the 7th house is attracting partners who want to make it the me show. Now, as an Aries dominant, you know, it is me, myself, and I. That energy is very much about you and your identity and your independence. But when you have a 7th house Venus, you can have very demanding partners, which often are very either clingy or want your attention all the time, or completely just want you to themselves, and you feel like, well, you're not able to really be free and independent. So the shadow to work on here, or the karmic pattern to identify and get deeper into, is looking at where and how are you attracting these demanding partners, and are they defining you? Are they defining your identity? Are they defining your life? Are they taking up all of your time, or do you have healthy boundaries in place there? So something that you can master here with the energy of Venus is, as you are a very strong spirited individual, very headstrong, you are very assertive. It's about asserting yourself in this area of life and really placing those boundaries in a relationship without the need of getting into a confrontation, without getting into a conflict. Establishing boundaries in a healthy manner where you can express yourself in a healthy manner, where you can establish your boundaries in a healthy manner, and where there's no kind of animosity or any type of difficult energy that you experience, because with Venus, it is about love, peace, and harmony. But as a individual who has a lot of fire energy and your seventh house is opposite your first house, sometimes there can be conflict or disagreements, but it's about balancing that energy. Finding the balance between your identity, your individuality, your freedom, your independence, and also finding the balance in relationships and having healthy, harmonious relationships as well, without getting into any confrontation or conflict. So balancing your first house and your seventh house, you and other people, having harmony and peace in both of these areas of life without having to fight for one or the other, okay? Now, what action can you take with this energy? Well, articulate your non-negotiables in relationships and partnerships. What is it that you require? Make it heard, but in a way, again, that doesn't create conflict or chaos, but instead creates a deep, meaningful understanding. So take some time to think about what are your non-negotiables, because often our non-negotiables, if we're not expressing them or being loud and clear about them, because they're not received due to them not being expressed or articulated. So go over some of your non-negotiables, and if you are in a relationship, make it clear what are your non-negotiables so that you don't have to constantly fight over them. And also understand your partner's non-negotiables as well, and see where you can meet in the middle, see where you can come into harmony and balance. You have to understand each other's needs, requirements, and non-negotiables. Otherwise, that's where the conflict and chaos comes into place. So if you are single, this may look a little different for you because you're not having to negotiate with anybody else, but it's a great time to work on the relationship you have with yourself, because as you work on yourself, that energy will express itself externally in an external realm and with other people. So look at some of your old karmic patterns that have been playing up in relationships and where there has been chaos, and get really crystal clear on how to express some of your non-negotiables in the future. Or if you're dating, think about them, redefine them. Or perhaps you even just need to identify them as a starting point. Get very clear on them, so when you do start a date, or if you are dating, or you feel like you are, getting into some sort of relationship, you clear all that out at the beginning so that later on you don't bump into issues. Okay, so a lot of the focus this month is going to be on relationships, but also you and your identity and your individuality, and how to make relationships also work in your life. And often with Venus, even though it's a planet of love and relationships, and you may think it's a very romantic period, for some it may be that way as well, of course. But also, we're having a new moon coming up in your opposite sign. So sometimes you can even see where there is the lack of balance, or the lack of peace, or the lack of harmony, and what is required in order to get to the point of equilibrium. So Aries rising, wishing you all the best this month. Hey Taurus rising, let's get into the astrology of Venus changing signs into its home sign, Libra. So Venus is a goddess of love and relationships. It rules over harmony, balance, peace, beauty, self-worth, values, creativity. And for you, it's moving into your sixth house of daily life, routine, habits, work, and also lifestyle, wellness, and how you are of service to others. When Venus is in the sixth house, typically Venus can really give more than it receives, and it's a giver. It's constantly giving its energy away, whether it's giving its energy to work or the daily requirements of life, or to other people, always helping others. Like Venus in the sixth house can be very healing. Now we're working with this energy to really build harmony from within, so that energy we attract. And one of the shadows to work on, or the karmic patterns to work on, is the habit of overgiving in your daily life and sacrificing your peace or your needs for the sake of others. So that's something to work on, because Venus here is an overgiver, and it's depleting itself from energy, it's depleting itself from pleasure. So something to claim here, and what to really master, is taking charge of your everyday life and where your energy goes. And prioritizing your own self-care, prioritizing your own pleasure. It's okay to give back to yourself. It's not always about giving. Remember, to master Venus's energy, it's about being in the flow of giving and receiving. It's not one or the other. It's about giving and receiving equally. So whether you want to create a very healing self-care routine, ritual for yourself, because Venus does rule over beauty, that could be one of them, or sensuality, or pleasure, doing things that are Venusian in nature, very yin, very feminine. So we can look at yoga here, dance here, or taking sensual baths with like herbs or flowers or oils that really support you in feeling great about yourself and nourishing and healing yourself. That's something that you can do during this time to work on one of the shadows or karmic patterns of overgiving to others and not having enough for yourself. It's about prioritizing yourself, giving and receiving, giving to yourself and also receiving for yourself. It's okay. Sometimes Venus in the 6th house can feel guilty of that. So prioritizing your well-being and your self-care. And the magnetic action to take is to set boundaries around your daily life, your daily routine, how you give your energy and work. Taking authority over where you give your energy, where you give your time. Taking authority of your daily life and routine. And putting yourself in the center of that and putting well-being and wellness and happiness and then self-care as a priority. So, Taurus rising, that's where you can do a lot of shadow work, soul work to really make yourself a priority, which will then really expand your Venusian energy, expand the heart chakra. And when you make yourself a priority and give that energy to yourself, you'll start to attract that energy as well. So, take care and sending you loads of love. Hey Gem rising, let's get into Venus changing signs and how it may impact your zodiac. So Venus enters its home sign of Libra and it moves into your 5th house. Now Venus loves being in the 5th house because Venus rules over love, relationships, harmony, peace, self-worth. It's very social energy. It's all about beauty, pleasure, and creativity and self-expression. And the 5th house is also about self-expression and creativity and pleasure, joy, happiness. And this is also the area of life that rules over romance and dating. So Venus can really flourish in this area of life. And the focus of this month can definitely be around how you express yourself and pleasure and joy and also romance and dating and relationships. But if we're working with this energy to work on boundaries or to work on self-worth and work on shadows and karmic patterns, often with Venus, in order to impress others, Venus can really put on a show. And it can move away from its authentic self and move more towards what other people expect or want. So one of the shadows to work on is the people pleasing. And ask yourself, do you have a tendency to people please? Do you have the tendency to dress up so that you're impressing someone, or to act or to say things that impress others? Or are you completely being yourself? Or are you kind of switching up, changing up your personality to attract other people or to fit in more or to be more likable or accepted? That's something to really think about. Because this energy is about authentic expression, expressing your true authentic self and not trying to radiate a certain energy to impress or get validation from other people. And what we need to master here is to really express your true self. Not the self that is limited or that you're trying to kind of create or mold yourself, but really unleashing your true authentic self. Okay, that's super important. And that means being your most honest self, truthful self, genuine self. Expressing that version of yourself. Allowing yourself, holding space, holding platform to express that version of self. And you can do that by creative endeavors, So anything expressive. So we're looking at photography, we're looking at dressing up, we're looking at creating, painting, art, music, dance, anything that is very Venusian and creative and very yin, that allows you to be expressive. And this may be even something that's more sensual. It allows you to also express your feminine energy and also build on that, and also expand on that heart chakra as well. Now, the magnetic action to take with this energy is to express yourself without the fear of judgment, or the fear of what other people might think or perceive you, or how they may react. Forget about all of that. It's about forgetting about the external approval and giving yourself your own approval, self-approving, validating yourself. That's where your true sense of self-worth comes from. So those are some things that can be worked on, especially when you want to build on your self-worth, self-esteem, and expressing your true Venusian energy. But like I said, it's a very artistic, creative time for you, so let yourself be free. Let yourself be free, center stage, take the spotlight, express yourself. Don't worry about the opinions or judgments of others. And relationships and love and romance can definitely be key during this time and really ignite that sensual side to you as well. So Gem Rising, take care and keeping you. Hey Cancer Rising, let's get into Venus changing signs and moving into Libra. Venus is goddess of love, relationships, harmony, peace, as well as self-worth, creativity, and feminine energy. And it's going to be moving into your 4th house of home, family, your personal life, where you go to retreat, where you go to rejuvenate. This could also be a very sacred area of life because it can also rule a lot of your intuition and psychic energy, and you can get into a lot of karmic, ancestral, generational, spiritual work here as well. So with Venus here, typically Venus in Libra will show where you're having a lot of fulfillment, and it's showing where you are feeling a lot of pleasure and joy. And being a Cancer dominant, home is very important. Home, family, feelings, emotions, intuition, feeling safe, relationships, that's all super important. That's what you value, and that's showing with a 4th house ruled by Libra. And that's where there's a lot of happiness and joy for you. But if we're working with the shadow side and we want to work through some karmic patterns, Venus in the 4th house is showing us where you're probably sacrificing a lot of your inner peace for family harmony or harmony in relationships. You know, Venus can give a lot when it's out of balance and not manifesting in tranquility or equilibrium, because Venus in its high manifestation is open to giving as well as receiving. And the passive shadow side of Venus being in Libra is, in order to maintain the peace or the balance or the harmony, it can sacrifice a lot of its needs and desires. So that's something to identify, taking a look at some of your patterns or asking yourself, are you giving away a lot or sacrificing a lot, especially like inner peace, for the sake of keeping harmony between family relationships, personal relationships, or to keep a peaceful, harmonious home? That's something to work on, because your needs matter. What you're feeling or what you require, what you desire, that's important. And it's not okay to just let go of what you need and what your heart needs just to impress or just to make everyone else happy. You have to make yourself a priority as well. And then the mastery here, and what to work on to master, is to create an environment, a safe environment, whether that being your home or sacred space in your home, that fulfills you, that nurtures you, that nourishes you, even if that means setting firm boundaries. And then sometimes with the Libra 4th house, you cannot have a lot of boundaries with family members, or if you're in a relationship, because it's a very giving energy. So that's something to work on, writing a list of boundaries, writing a list of non-negotiables. You know, what is it in your home life or in your family life, family environment, home environment? What is it that really is making you sacrifice a lot of your inner peace, or where you're kind of just giving away a lot of your energy to maintain a harmonious home or family life. But what can you do to establish those boundaries? How can you get crystal clear on those boundaries and express them? Not in a confrontational way, not in a way that feels like you're lashing out, but in a harmonious way, in a way where you're speaking truth, where you're speaking from your heart and letting your feelings be known as well. Venus can rule a lot of our feelings as well. Yes, the moon rules over emotions, but Venus being a feminine energy, the yin energy, it can also say a lot about how we're feeling. So that's something to also work on, your non-negotiables and boundaries with family, or your relationship that is connected to your inner peace, that's connected to how safe you feel, how good you feel. Is your home providing you with the nourishment and the nurturing that you require? Does it feel like a sacred space, a sacred environment? Which goes into the next point of the magnetic action to take, is to do something in your home environment, whether that means redecorating, reorganizing your space to reflect your higher self, your higher Venusian self. Your home has to feel like a sacred sanctuary that makes you feel worthy, that makes you feel like a goddess, that makes you feel divine, that makes you feel safe, happy, nurtured, nourished. It has to also allow you to be creative. It has to feel peaceful, and not peaceful because you're letting a lot of your needs go, but peaceful because it's actually full of love, and full of sacred energy and healthy boundaries as well. So that's something to work on so that you can truly experience the higher manifestation, higher octave of Venus in the fourth house. So Cancer, Cancer rising, wishing you all the best. Take care and speak with you soon. Hey Leo rising, let's get into Venus moving into Libra and how it may impact you and how you can work with the shadow karmic energy to establish strong boundaries and work with the magnetic energy of Venus instead. So let's get into it. Now, Venus is a planet of love, relationships, harmony, peace, social life is super important for Venus, and for you, it's in your third house of communication, your social life, learning, thinking, movement, travel. So Venus is very social here. She's very outgoing and out and about, and she just wants to talk, hang out, have a good time. Okay? Now, the thing here is, when we're working with the shadow karmic energy, we want to look at what we're avoiding. And with Venus, sometimes Venus, because it is in the third house of communication, Venus wants to keep the harmony and peace. Therefore, Venus avoids difficult conversations that could lead to um, a lack of seeing eye to eye, or could lead to disagreements. Venus wants to maintain social peace, but when we're looking at the karmic shadow energy, are you holding back? Are you holding back your throat chakra? Or are you speaking truth? Are you saying what's on your mind? Or are you just trying to get into conversations to fit in, even if you don't completely agree with what is being discussed? So that's something to identify. Am I holding back for everyone's approval, or am I actually speaking my truth? And then what we want to master here is Venus communicating with honesty, with integrity, saying what is actually on your mind, speaking your truth, speaking your highest truth, expressing yourself firmly, and expressing boundaries as well, and not being afraid of any disagreements or confrontation, because you can't please everyone. And Venus in Libra can often be a people pleaser, especially in the third house. Venus wants to just get on with everyone. So that's something to master, is mastering your voice, mastering your thoughts, mastering how you articulate and express yourself, and how you establish boundaries. And the magnetic action here is to initiate conversations you've been avoiding, that you've been running away from, taking them head on, but speaking with clarity, speaking with your magnetic energy, letting your truth be heard, expressing it, and embodying truth, not trying to fit in, just speaking in full clarity as well. You're working with your magnetic energy by doing so. And it shouldn't end up in chaos or confrontation. In fact, it should just set clear, firm boundaries that are also very protective. So that's something that we can work on with the Venusian energy so that we can embody our highest truth. So Leo rising, Venus is in your third house. There's a lot of focus on communication, a lot of important conversations maybe had, a lot of heart to hearts as well. Like that's also embodying the highest energy of Venus, is expressing what is truly on your heart, not just your mind, but your heart, your higher heart. And there could be also a lot of movement and travel as well, and your social life can be very busy this month. So wishing you all the best, Leo rising, take care. Virgo rising. Let's take a look at Venus entering Libra and how it may impact your zodiac and how we can work with this energy and work through the shadows and the karma so we can embody the higher manifestation of Venus. Now, Venus is a planet of love, relationships, harmony, peace, sensuality, feminine energy, creativity, and self worth. And it's entering your second house. And the second house rules over your self worth. But often that self worth is attached to what we own, money, and just our status as well. And that's what the second house is. It's very mundane in that sense. It's very material orientated in that sense. And when we're working with Venus and when we're working with the karma and shadows and patterns we can transform, what the energy is supporting and encouraging us to dive deep in is going into self-worth and looking at where are you undervaluing yourself, your talents, or your skills, or where you are waiting for external validation. Is there something in your life that is validating you or providing you with your self-worth, or is your self-worth truly stemming from within? That's something to take a look at. Do you feel good enough, or do you not feel good enough? Are you trying to fit in, or are you truly embodying the higher manifestation of Venus, and that is listening to the higher heart? And what the energy can support us into mastering is to define your values. Define what truly brings you self-worth, worthiness, what truly validates your self-esteem, and also to invest in your talents, in your gifts, in your abilities, because that is your true sense of value. That is your true sense of resource as well. And the magnetic action you can take with this energy is to review your life, review your resources, review the material element of life, and take the time to reflect on what do these things mean to you and how do they serve you, and also to review and reflect on your true resources, which are your gifts, your abilities, your talents, your skills, and are you putting them in practice? Is there an equal giving and receiving? Because that's what that energy should manifest for you when you're working with your true gifts and abilities. And that would be connected to what brings you pleasure, what brings you peace, what brings you, and what raises your vibration, your frequency. That creates this giving and receiving flow and balance. So with Venus in the second house, it's asking you to dive deeper into your self-worth. Are you feeling deserving? Are you feeling worthy? Are you feeling good enough? Because that also brings a lot of the material and then the resources into your life. Because when you feel great and when you feel good, when you feel worthy, that's when money manifestation, for example, starts to really come through. Whereas when you don't feel too good about yourself or when you don't feel worthy, you create blocks. So working with the law of attraction is really working with self-worth and then working with what is really going on in your internal realm, as well as emotions. So, wishing you all the best with this transit. Hey Libra, Libra rising. Let's get into Venus moving into your home sign. So, this is a major transit for you because you're ruled by the planet of love, relationships, harmony, peace, sensuality, feminine energy, self worth, and creativity and pleasure. This is your element. This is what you embody. And when it's in your first house, it's really about expressing this energy to its fullest. And a lot of the energy and the themes and the experiences you may go through this month and the next couple of weeks is going to be centered around relationships and love and self-worth and being in pleasure, bliss, creativity. But if we're working with this energy in the sense of shadow work and karmic patterns, it's about going deeper regarding what brings you your true sense of self-worth and value. Identify if you are looking for validation from external sources, such as people or things. Are you looking for the approval of others to define who you are, to define your identity or your life path? That's something to dig deeper in. Are you dressing up or acting or behaving or speaking or doing things just to get the validation from others or the acceptance from others? Or are you truly doing it because you're in harmony and in balance and you are embodying the energy of love, which is Venus, when it comes to how you express yourself or your identity, the choices you're making for yourself and your life path? And the mastery here to claim and the energy to really embody is self-acceptance. Because that is the most important thing with Venus in the first house, is to accept the love you have in your life, which stems from your connection to source, divine, universe, from your core, your being, from the things that bring you peace, balance, bliss, serenity, tranquility, and that expand your consciousness, that expand your heart chakra. Your magnetism also comes from within, from being you, not being what others want you to be. Master your identity, master your life purpose, master your life path. Don't look for others to approve that for you. Don't look for external acceptance or external validation. Embody that yourself. That's what Venus in the first house, when we're working with that energy karmically, is asking. And the magnetic action you can take with this energy is to express yourself, be yourself, do the things that you truly want to do. For example, how you present yourself. Are you presenting yourself authentically? Are you presenting the true version of yourself? Or are you presenting a version of yourself that you want others to approve or validate? So, however this Venus energy shows up for you this month, make sure to embody your truest self. Make sure to embody the most highest version of yourself. Express yourself because that's what you truly feel and not what you feel like is gonna give you acceptance or validation. Remember, the validation should come from within. And embody that Venusian sensual energy, that divine feminine energy, and walk in beauty, walk in elegance, walk in grace. This is about really getting in touch with your feminine energy. So having like a ritual for yourself that connects you with your feminine energy, whether that means taking a goddess bath, having your herbs, oils, crystals, or doing yoga or dancing, expressing yourself, being in arts and creativity, whatever connects you with your feminine energy, embody that. Because it's going to help to expand your heart chakra, expand your self-worth, self-esteem, validate yourself, and really also help you to embody the higher aspect of the Venus energy. So wishing you all the best with this month, Libra, Libra rising. Scorpio, Scorpio rising. Let's get into Venus entering Libra and how you can work with this energy and do shadow work and do a lot of karmic pattern recognition and transformation. Now, Venus is a planet of love, relationships, creativity, sensuality, and pleasure. And when it's in Libra, it's in its home sign. So this energy is really strong. So relationships can come up for sure. It can be a month, and the next couple of weeks can really highlight and focus on relationships, whether it be in relationship with self or other people. And sometimes that is also very intertwined. Now, for you, this energy is going to be in your 12th house. The 12th house is a very mysterious spiritual house because it rules a number of different things. It's an energy that can rule over the past, and the past can also reflect where you're currently at and then where you're headed. This energy can rule over things that are hidden and also can rule over a lot of karma, past lives, if that's what you're into, as well as the divine. It can rule over creativity, your spiritual practices and beliefs, as well as the area of life where you can also sometimes go to escape when things get difficult, which is what we want to transform. We always want to look at our 12th house to find out where we may have escaping tendency so that we can be very present and aware and conscious. With Venus in the 12th house, the shadows to transform and the karmic patterns to identify is knowing when you're giving a lot of your energy or sacrificing a lot for the needs of others, leading to emotions that don't serve you. Now, with the 12th house, it can be a very selfless energy where it's very sacrificial or very giving. It tends to put others' needs before its own. That's something to work on. Now, with Scorpio energy, especially in love and relationships, it's all or nothing. And, when you're locked in, you are locked in and you will give everything you have for the person you love and adore. But if that energy is not reciprocated, or that energy is taken for granted, or your trust has been broken, that can lead to a lot of inner turmoil. So those are some patterns to recognize and identify. Is there an equal amount of giving and receiving in your life, especially when it comes to relationships and other people? Or do you find yourself giving more than you receive because that is an imbalance? And recognizing, well, why is there an imbalance? Is it because I'm giving my energy to people that are not truly valuing me? Or am I giving my energy to people who don't really love me? Or am I choosing the wrong people in my life? And thus why I'm giving my energy to these people who are kind of like energy vampires. That's something to identify, because that can create a lot of inner tension and inner turmoil, and we don't want to get to that point. And what we want to master here is finding spiritual harmony. It's to spend time in spiritual solitude, connecting with that intuition, connecting to our higher self, and honoring our true self-worth, which comes from within and not from what we give to others, not from the sacrifices we make. It's from within. And also, with that Scorpio energy, you perhaps already spend a lot of time alone, but having a spiritual routine is super important, because that's where you can also get back in touch with not only intuition, but get back in touch with what truly is happening in your life, and reflecting on life, reflecting on the past. So we want to take time to master that and claim that energy more. The magnetic action we can take here is to have a ritual, a routine of releasing the past, letting go of the past, forgiving ourselves. That can be difficult, and others, sometimes that can be even more difficult. And doing a ritual, a routine that lets all that energy that's been building up for some time, let it out, to really let out any density or any kind of chaos in your heart chakra, letting that go that's attached to past relationships, so that you can embody the true aspect of Venus and expand, make room for that heart chakra to expand and expand your consciousness, so that you can raise your frequency and energy. So you can do a lot of spiritual karmic work with Venus in the 12th house and to really embody true self-worth, which of course always comes from within, and connect with your spiritual gifts and abilities. So Scorpio rising, take care, take it easy, and really embody that true Venusian higher aspect of self. Sag rising. Let's get into Venus changing signs and moving into Libra. Now, Venus is a planet of love, relationships, harmony. It rules over expression, creativity, pleasure, and it's going to move into your 11th house of friendships, groups, your social life, and your hopes and visions for the future. Now, we're working with Venus in a shadow work perspective and pattern recognition, karmic pattern recognition, so we can transform some of those energies into positives. With Venus in the 11th house, we want to identify where we have the tendency to people please, especially when it comes to friendships, groups, networks. Are you in certain social settings where you're always trying to please others, or you're giving too much, or you're sacrificing, or you're compromising? Is that the case? Because if it is, you're not embodying the true aspect of Venus. You're embodying the shadow side of Venus, which is sacrificing your needs for others, or compromising, or not truly being your complete self, or finding your self worth through others. So it's about reflecting and analyzing and identifying how you act, how you fit in your social circles. And are you around people that actually support you? That's one of the energies to also master is, are you in social settings, or do you have friendships with people that are in alignment with your values, with your Venusian values, who support you, who love you, who accept you, who see your visions, and who also expand your heart chakra? Like, you're around great people when you feel great in their company, when you don't feel no pressure, where you feel at ease, where you feel like your frequency is shifting, or when you feel filled with love. And that's when you're with people who are soul aligned, in alignment with you and your values. And the magnetic action to take here is very similar to identifying some of your shadow tendencies with this Venus energy, is reviewing, reflecting on your social circle, and really looking at, well, are there some friendships or some groups that I probably should release out of my life? And am I in friendships where there's an equal amount of giving and receiving? Is it equilibrium? Or am I putting people before me, before my needs? Am I also prioritizing friendships that really support me, uplift me? Or am I pouring more into the friendships where I feel like I need to kind of prove myself, or where I'm seeking their validation? The more you work on that, the more you'll attract your true tribe, your authentic tribe, soul tribe. So Sag rising, that's where the focus is for you this month. Friendships, groups, networks, redefining your visions for the future. Are they truly in alignment with your heart? Or are they influenced by other people? So take care, and wishing you all the best. Hey Cap Rising, let's get into Venus changing signs. Venus will be moving into Libra, and it will be moving into your 10th house. So, career, goals, and ambitions is where the focus is going to be for the next couple of weeks. And with Venus's influence, it's about, well, is your heart truly in alignment with career goals and ambitions? Or are there some shadows or karmic patterns that need to be released? And the shadows and karmic pattern recognition here would be, is, are you truly in alignment with what goals you have set for yourself? Are they in alignment with your values? Do they really bring the best out of you? Do they expand your heart chakra? Do they fill you with love and pleasure? Or is this area of life an area of life where you're seeking external validation through those achievements? Or are you kind of giving a lot of yourself away to achieve certain things that you wouldn't usually do? So it's a time to really dive deep and look at some of the more difficult energies that you would usually perhaps disregard. But if you want to work with this energy karmically, let's dig deeper. And what you want to master with Venus's influence in the 10th house is to build a career or goals that reflect your values, your true values, and that truly fill you with love and pleasure and allow you to be creative and express yourself, that align with your higher self, or you can go deeper and align with your soul and soul path. That's really working with Venus in the 10th house from the higher octave. And the magnetic action you can take is to define what it is that is your ideal career, that feels like a mission, that feels like a life purpose, path. What do you feel like you are here to really do? What really connects you with your heart? How do you express yourself in this area of life? You know, the energy can support you to attract recognition that you deserve, but when you are working from your true self-worth and values, and when you're not seeking external validation, but you're self-validated, okay? So, as your career goals and ambitions in alignment with your heart, that's what the energy is supporting you to work through, okay? So, Cap Rising, take care, and hopefully this works out in your favor. Aquarius rising. Let's get into Venus in the 9th house. So Venus is going to be moving into your 9th house of the mind, higher mind, philosophies, expansion, and travel. And when Venus is in the 9th house, Venus can really enjoy learning, reading, writing, and traveling. Now, with this video, it's about working on the shadows and karmic pattern recognition, so you can do a lot of transformation, even with the energy of Venus. And when Venus is in the 9th house, the shadows that you can work through in the karmic pattern recognition is to take a look and reflect on some of your philosophies and the things that you believe in, and to reevaluate them. Do they really define who you are? Are they in sync with your heart? Do they come from love? Do they expand your mind? Do they expand your consciousness? Or do they make you feel the opposite of all that? Or do they make you feel more intellectually superior? Because sometimes, you know, some people can't seem to look at other people's philosophies or different perspectives because they feel like their way is the right way. Whereas when you're working on harmony and balance and having equilibrium, you're able to understand and accept that there are many paths to enlightenment. That's a huge one. And the mastery that we can work on with this energy is to really expand the heart and the mind and the higher heart through being more open-minded, exploring new philosophies, learning new things, learning new spiritual philosophies, and educating ourselves. You know, that can really support us to embody the higher manifestation of Venus. And the magnetic action you can take to open up those energetic points in the heart chakra and the crown chakra is read something that is different to what you'd usually read. Enlighten yourself. Pick up a book that you probably wouldn't usually pick up, or plan something spiritual, like a spiritual trip that you feel like can really support you in expanding your heart chakra, in expanding your mind. For example, going to like some type of spiritual yoga retreat that could support you. So the key lesson with Venus in the 9th house when working with shadow work and karmic pattern recognition is to really expand the mind, and to expand the mind through opening up your awareness, opening up your heart, and finding that equilibrium between heart and mind. That's a big one. So Aquarius rising, take care, and I'll speak with you soon. Pisces, Pisces rising, let's get into Venus entering Libra. Venus, a planet of love, relationships, harmony, peace, sensuality, creativity, and self worth, is entering the eighth house, a very deep, intense energy. The eighth house rules a couple of different things. You got the mundane aspect of the eighth house, and then you also have the very deep, soul, spiritual, esoteric aspect of the eighth house. So often the eighth house is about shared finances, resources, intimacy, the psyche, transformation. You can get really esoteric in this area of life and do a lot of deep soul, spiritual, karmic work. Interestingly enough, when we have Venus entering Libra on October the 13th, we also have Pluto going direct in the sign of Aquarius. And because Venus is in an air sign Libra, Pluto's in an air sign Aquarius, this air energy is really getting along. There's a lot of flow and positive harmony between these energies. And Pluto is also another extension of the eighth house. It's about deep soul, spiritual transformation. So this energy can be very intense and very karmic in nature and can open up a lot of room and space and opportunity for self transformation. And when we're looking at this energy from a shadow aspect and karmic pattern recognition, you want to take a look at where you are merging too deeply with others to the point of not being able to have a sense of true self-worth and value, which stems from within and self-validation. Do you feel like you're getting too lost in intimate relationships, intimate connections? Do you feel like you're giving too much away? Sometimes with the Libra energy, it's too giving, and it can often put its own needs, desires, or requirements at the back. So with this energy, you want to identify where you are giving too much of yourself or where you're sacrificing your needs. And are you feeling like you're giving so much of yourself or so much of your emotional energy away to a person or something that is leaving you almost not in tune with yourself, your self-worth, or where you feel like you're needing validation? And the mastery that we can work on here is to work on creating deep, intimate connections that are based on mutual respect and healthy boundaries. Often with the Piscean or the Libra energy, the Venusian energy in the eighth house, there could be a lack of boundaries. There could be a lack of a mutual giving and receiving. So what you want to really claim here and be firm on are your boundaries. And that's something to work on. And the magnetic action here you can take is to reflect and review your boundaries and practice how you can really establish them in a healthy manner, but also in a firm manner, as well as review any joint endeavors or agreements you have. Are they connected with your values? Do they represent you? Or do you feel like they're not actually in alignment with you? And remember, your power comes from free will, from the choices you make, the conscious choices. So that's some of the work you can do with this energy karmically to transform. So wishing you all the best, Pisces, Pisces rising, and speak with you soon.